Microaggression, which is a statement, action, or incident regarded as an instance of indirect, subtle, or unintentional. That's interesting. Unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group.
And what is even that? What is even that? Right now, the biggest marginalized group right now is straight white men.
That's true.
I'm not even kidding. True. It's like if you're straight white men, you are completely canceled.
Yeah.
You've had all this privilege your whole life. Well, you know what? I think I call bullshit on that. And ultimately, sorry, go ahead.
You're being very vocal today with your new word order. So microaggression, a statement, action, or incident regarded as an instance of indirect, subtle, and this is the one that they added in there, or unintentional discrimination against.
So how do you even know if you've hurt someone?
Well, for example, marginalized group. Well, what the hell's a marginalized group?
Right.
And then I look at that and I look at this definition. And I go, well, it's unintentional. I've been told I was passive aggressive, yet my intention was not passive aggressive. I'm very familiar with passive aggressive, but I've been said, sometimes you're really passive aggressive. And I go, okay, really? Okay, I didn't know that. So then I have to clean up my language. And I'm thinking to that person, like, how are you holding this? Like, why would you even think in that term? But I take responsibility for it and I go, okay, I'll work on that. But
right. But how do we know, hun, when you think about it, how do we know if we've unintentionally hurt someone's feelings? And if they don't tell us, how do we know?
I have no idea.
I would never, if I think about, I don't know a lot of people who go around intentionally wanting to hurt other people by their words or their actions or their meanings. Like, to me,
you don't know a lot, but that doesn't mean that you don't know a lot of people. But I think it's quite common.
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. I think people are inherently good, and I want to believe that to my core. Is that if unless you're a gaslighter, like we've had experiences with people that really do take advantage and abuse other people, but I want to believe that most people that we know are inherently good, and if they say something that hurt my feeling, it's my responsibility to say, hey, ooh, ouch, I think that hurt my feeling. That's not what you meant, right? But if I'm so freaking sensitive that I can't handle a conversation and somebody just saying something that matters to them and their values, they're giving me information about who they are and what they mean. It's not up to me to judge, and it's up to me. It's like I said, on the last podcast, the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words and names will never hurt me. I have enough confidence to know that maybe they didn't quite understand what they were saying. And, maybe I misinterpreted or I heard something, I misheard something, but I'm going to take responsibility and go, what did you mean by that? And let's dig into it and have a conversation, not just, oh my God, that was a microaggression. You meant to hurt me. No, I didn't.
Well, no, but there's unintentional here. So so then they would say you unintentionally discriminated against me.
So how, okay, you unintentionally discriminated against me.
Oh gosh, I don't even know who picked this topic. Okay, we're going to keep going. Cultural appropriation, the adoption or use of elements of one culture by members of another culture, often with little understanding or respect for the original culture.
This is my favorite. This is like Trudeau and blackface. Or him and his family going to India, getting off the plane completely like duded up in saris and stuff. That's cultural misappropriation. When you try to take on or try to impress people by, I'm so understanding for your culture, I'm going to dress like you.
It's cultural appropriation, not misappropriation.
Well, to me, it's misappropriation. If you try to adopt elements of other people's culture to try to impress them, that's gaslighting. I want to understand our differences. I want to understand what brings us together as humans. Like, I look at us, like for me, I look at races. I look at the human race. I don't look at skin color or gender or whatever. So when you talk about cultural appropriation, I call it misappropriation. If you're going to use somebody's culture or color or dress or accent to be demeaning, that to me is misappropriation.
Well, just in that, and I know this is maybe a stretch, but I was thinking about this, you go back to cancel culture and then you think about cultural appropriation, or in the context you're using it, a misappropriation. And you look at the definitions of this, and I can't help but think about cancel or cultural appropriation, and then cancel culture. When I bring those together, what I get to and what I want to shine a light on is where we are, for example, where historic statues are being torn down or broken or thrown into storage because
churches being burned.
Because of, well, churches, that's a different conversation. I'm talking about trying to eliminate and deny the history that got us where we are. The politicians that still were politicians, whether they were offside or onside. I mean, at the end of the day, it was all part of what got us and what created this country and this world. I mean, it's happening across US and Canada. And to me, those are, when you start to talk about with little understanding or respect for the original culture, it's like the cancel culture. These are things that we're going back to what we just talked about, which is because I don't relate or align with your values, it's all wrong. We are going to deny our history, like pretend it didn't exist or make it wrong. Yet here you are standing in a country the way it is, all of which was because of those individuals that got us here. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's, to me where, I don't know where I'm going with that, other than cultural appropriation and cancel culture came together for me in that example.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And sadly, we're going to have kids growing up that aren't going to know our history because they're going to remove it from the history books, or they're going to knock down, the statues, or change the name of a university because some guys made a comment or said they made a comment that, we don't even know to be true anymore. And that's the sad part, is that the generations going forward aren't going to know how hard, like I lost, how many family members in different wars, and, an uncle that came back without a colon because it was blown out of him from World War II. And you're thinking, why did we do that? Why did we do that? What were we fighting for? Do we forget that? Did we forget what we were fighting for and what freedom is? And now freedom right now, which is interesting, is not on our list, but now freedom's a dirty word. You can't be a freedom fighter or believe in freedom without being called a racist. And I've seen that on social media, and I've got, cousins and people that are saying, don't use the word freedom, or don't say that you're a freedom fighter, because that means you're a racist. They've changed the definition of freedom.